I think the biggest piece of advice I have for people who are new to working with the eclipses, and like this is the first season that you're like, yeah, I think I'm gonna try that out. Trust your gut. Yes, there are a lot of fated events that happen during eclipse season. And oftentimes we think about fate as like, in this perspective at least, as like something that's happening to us. This thing that fate has decided for me shall begin or shall happen. And the reason I say trust your gut is because if you're new to working with the eclipses, then probably one of the things that you haven't seen yet is that if you're making new decisions, you're also informing fate, hey, I would like this to happen again. Sometimes there's events that come up that we just don't have any control over. Other people's decision, the way those impact us. Like, we cannot control that. We can sort of decide what we're going to do with our time, where we're going to spend it, how are we going to move through the season itself. But in terms of that sort of control, it doesn't exist. So if you're moving through eclipse season and say that you get invited to go somewhere, there's like an event that comes up, or you're making decisions to kind of like go and be a part of other places, then now is the time to pay attention to those kind of gut instincts. Intuition, we could also call it, right? Discernment would be, do I make this decision to go do this thing and spend this time with these people or this person at this place? Or do I do something else? How do I feel about it if this event were to come with me? Is this event closing out any cycles that have already happened? Is this a pattern in my life that I need to finalize for the final time? Sometimes fate is like that. Sometimes fate will bring things up just so that you can close it out, so that you don't ever have to do it again. I will make different decisions this time. I am a different person. Let me move on. Sometimes we have to go through the final fated event so that we don't have to do it anymore. So really trust your gut if you're someone who's new to working with the eclipses. The other sort of area that you could look at if you've been working with the moons, and this is your first season of kind of like looking at eclipse magic more intensely, what have the moons taught you about cycles? And if you've worked with any of the new moons in Virgo, full moons in Virgo, full moons in Pisces, and new moons in Pisces, and you have record of them, this would probably be a good time to go back and read up on them. What have I been weaving with this energy already? Because we're about to be in a turn of it. So if I go learn about what I've already done, now the big stuff happens. Eclipses are usually an accumulation of a lot of time. Come to a point, like a boiling point. When water is boiling, it's time to make noodles and or tea. Here we go. The chemical change, interesting, because you can't really reverse that. You know what I mean? Once the cake goes in the oven, it will bake, and then it does not become anything except for that cake. Can't go back to being batter. You can't go backwards. Yeah. So hopefully the recipe is really good. And the recipe would be you working with those moon cycles of the Virgo and the Pisces moons in the previous year. What have you put into the recipe? You could go and look. You can go and study. You could also, sometimes, this is kind of an extra note, but I'm going to bring it up for people who are really interested because I think this is interesting. I've done this and I was like, oh, whoa, that's crazy. Go back and look at the important dates that have happened in your life. Job offers, promotions, weddings, divorces, breakups, something really good happening, something really horrible happening, changes that were life-defining. Go pull their astrology charts. If you so feel inclined, pull it like you would a birth chart. What was happening with the moon? Was it during an eclipse season? Was it near an eclipse? Where were the lunar nodes? It'll show you some crazy stuff. And I mean, like, it'll be kind of eye-opening. Crazy. That's more advanced homework for beginners, but still pretty good advice, I think. It's a pretty good thing to do if you are really interested in it. First time I did it, it took me at least a couple of hours, and it was just like realization after realization after realization. And I was like, geez, this has been happening for a long time. I also was doing it during my lunar node opposition, so the lunar nodes were in the opposite positions in the transits as they were in my chart. So there's a lot of change happening. It was a pretty crazy time. But anyway, that would be my sort of like beginner's guidebook or like introduction to working with the eclipses on a very simple level. And if you want to go check out the homework stuff, that it would be applicable. So gratitude, reverence, and love to you. Keep up the brew you do. I for sure will too. This eclipse season is already eclipsing me. There's gonna be some crazy changes. I can feel it already. They're happening. And I feel a little bit grounded, easy, pleasantly discovering, while simultaneously I feel like that. And I'm hoping to feel like less of the latter and more of like, hopefully that turns into passion. You know what I mean? I hope that turns into passion. Anyways, not to get too hung up on my personal journey in this season. Gratitude, reverence, and love to you. I think I already said it, but I don't really care. I'm gonna say it again. I'll talk to you soon. Keep up the brew you do. I will too. And I'll talk to you soon. Yeah, also true. Happy eclipsing. Here we go.